Uh-oh, what's going on? Okay, I think I'm on. Hi guys, so I just wanted to pop on here and tell you some information that's going on in October. I'm making you guys all packets right now that'll have the newsletter, a that's not it, fun little packet we get from CFR, activity packet for children, and there's all different age types in there. And then, like I said, the newsletter will be out on Monday. I was going to get it out today, but I had a lot to put in the packet. Um, so with those two items, there is also a little paper discussing what's going to happen if we go distance learning. We'll go through that here in a second. And also, you'll have your parent handbook. We have two copies. One's white and one is blue. The blue one is for your as your resource. The white one needs to come back with initials and signature. So we're going to go over these two pages, the distance learning and the handbook, really quick, um, and also the newsletter. So I'm going to jump right into the newsletter really quick. Our curriculum for this month is fall, of course. Pumpkins, orange and black are the colors. Triangles are the shapes. Spiders and night creatures. So we're going to do a lot with owls and stuff like that. The books we'll be reading is Bear Feels Scared, so we're going to get into emotions a little bit there. Little Owl's Night, Too Many Pumpkins, and Look Who's Counting. Some important dates that I'd like to remind you guys is next Friday, the 9th, there is no school. Also, that following Tuesday, Monday, the 12th, there is no school. And the next book order is October 16th, which the new October flyers will be in your packet as well on Monday. Some reminders is just remember to turn in your paperwork that you guys are missing. Most of them are physician's reports, which are awesome. Please start bringing your child in a jacket with the weather getting colder in the morning. We're going to try to stay out every morning, or try to have some outside time every morning, I should say, until the weather turns bad. So we keep them out for maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes at tops. Then we all come in for breakfast. We're also looking for parents still for our parent focus group. If anyone's interested, please let me know. This is a great opportunity for you guys to voice your opinions, especially if you're going to be having a returning child next year, or if you're kind of an expert with coming to this preschool, if you've had multiple children here, just what you want to see. Help us out, help the kids out for next year. Um, and then of course the Westwood Facebook page. And like I remember, always, there's a parent tip. While having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, um, keep conversation going while eating. We've been working on that here, which is kind of hard since we don't do lunch anymore. We don't get that opportunity to have conversations for breakfast or lunch because it's kind of a quick little thing now. So today we kind of sat down and had a little bit more conversation during breakfast. We've been kind of keeping them at the table a little bit longer because they've been kind of rush eating, which seems to be helping with the conversations and all that kind of stuff. That is the newsletter. And also, I'd like to announce that we do have a new official staff member, I should say. You guys have probably all seen her on the playground. It is Miss Elise. She was at the high school for a bit, and then we kind of stole her away. And she is now our new teacher. So like I said, I am not leaving. I will just be considered a site supervisor now. And then Miss Elise is the teacher. So she'll be helping us out a lot, and hopefully she can stay here super long. Just saying. Okay, so then that is the newsletter. Um, let's go over the handbook. This will be in here. Remember, the white one is to bring back with your initials and your signature. The blue one is your copy. I will make sure it says it on the top so we don't get confusion after the end. Now, the first page is more of our philosophy and objectives. This really hasn't changed. There has been a lot of changing inside, though. So we're going to go over a little bit. Classroom activities, practical life, monthly themes. Like I said, we have a theme every month. Circle time, art, just kind of the things we go through. Letters and numbers, math and science exploration, manipulative sensory experiences. We have a lot of sand and that kind of stuff. And we're trying to figure out some new stuff for the children this year because they seem to really enjoy it and they pay attention a little bit more with that kind of stuff. So we're still working on that kind of things. And for the children that are moving on to kindergarten, we're trying to get them as ready as possible um, for that transition. We do the developmental assessments and screenings, which are our DRDPs, which we've discussed already in the last parent meeting. Um, if a child needs assistance, in addition to what we can provide, um, please notify me and I will notify the director and the administrator, and we'll have an FST, which is the family support team meeting. Now, this is if you are noticing things with your child's speech that you're having issues, and we'll also, if we see anything here that we think are concerning, we will discuss this with our higher ups, and then we'll try to get a family support group going and see what we can do. Safety and security, of course. Our front and back doors are usually are locked during the day. Our ramp is unlocked just so Michelle can get us lunches. It's a little bit easier for her that way. But as soon as 9 o'clock hits, our front door is locked. And this year it's a little bit more, must just for the fact that we cannot have anyone else in the preschool except for staff or students as of right now. Um, let's see here. Then the first initial is where I'm going to need you to initial is on the admissions and enrollment priorities and eligibility criteria. This basically goes through how we get our classes, our students. Our first priority are any children that are recipients of CPS, homeless or displaced students, foster youth ages 3 to 5, without regard to income. Those are our first priority. Our second priority, is given to the eligible 4-year-old children that are with this following order. Children with exceptional needs will be the first ones at 4. Children whose families have the lowest income ranking based on the most recent schedule adopted by the state superintendent public instructions, which is what we usually go by. After all eligible 4-year-olds are enrolled, then we can go to 3-year-olds who are income eligible. And then 4, as soon as all eligible student protective service children with exceptional needs, 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds have been enrolled, children who are not otherwise eligible for participation may be enrolled. Now that's the hard part because they have to be within a certain age range, which is basically almost 3. So that is how we figure out at the beginning how we were kind of trying to figure out how or who was going to be enrolled, especially with them cutting our class in half basically. Now you guys kind of know. And then we'll just need your initial here, just saying that you've got the proper paperwork right there on page 5. I will try to put bookmarks in here as well, or tabs or anything, so you know exactly where to sign or initial. Then the waiting list, which we don't have one yet, or we kind of do, but kind of don't, but then we're going to need initial there. Just if your child, just so if you understand that if a child comes in that has special needs and your child is the youngest, they might have to get pushed back if we are fully enrolled to make room for that child with the needs or the services. That's always a possibility here. So just keep that in mind, but we will notify you if anything like that changes. Attendance. Now there's bold spots in here, which weren't here last year. These are all the changes due to COVID-19. So for attendance, which we'll need another initial, so as we're up to 3 after attendance. Our preschool is limited to 12, which luckily they bumped up a little bit for us to 14, so we're good. That is the number of children allowed in the classroom. They did 12 just because of our sister school. They are able to cut the classroom into 2, so they're able to have 12 on each side. But we are good right now. We are at full enrollment, so no worries right now. Please, parents should notify the preschool if your child will not be attending on particular days or will be late on a particular day. And it gives you our phone numbers just for the fact that I have to call Shelly for lunch. And also, if we have a child that we can kind of sneak in at that time, we can bring each other child in. We haven't had to yet, just for the fact that everyone is 5 days, and you guys are amazing with attendance right now. So just keep that in mind, though, that please call or send me a message or anything telling me if you're going to be late or whatnot, so um, you can get a lunch and everything else. Like I said, attendance is extremely important this year, and I will go through the categories of how I do our attendance right now. So excused absences are if you're sick, the parent is sick, court-ordered visitation, family emergencies, and best interest. Now, the best interest days, you only have 10 a year. These are basically excused days. Some of these are family, if you're staying with your family to visit relatives. An extended weekend out of town. If you're out of town, doctor's appointments or similar situations like that would be your best interest. Most of the time, the doctors go with the sickness, so you can use a sick day as well. The sick days are all excused, so don't worry about that part. Just remember the best interest, you only have 10 in a school year. Now, after you run over those 10, there's unexcused absences, which you only get 5 in a school year. Um, After 2 unexcused absences, the parents will be contacted to schedule a meeting to discuss why your child is not there. After 5 unexcused absences, your child will be disenrolled from the program. So just remember that attendance is extremely important. If I have to get to that 5 and I have to disenroll your child, then I can bring another child in. So then there's not another extra space while this COVID thing is situated. It gets situated. Now with that, there is also a initial wrong side, right there. Now arrival and departure has some extra stuff now just for the COVID part. The designated pickup and drop off area is clearly marked, which for us, we don't really need it. Our sister school is on a school campus, so they have certain spots where they have to be. Children must be escorted to the building. Adults must wear masks at all times, socially distance from the next family, and wait until the health screening has been conducted. Parents are not allowed in the building during arrival or departure times. And you guys have been doing amazing with that. Thank you so much. Even with you guys staggering around and everything, it's worked out amazingly. And it's just great. You guys are doing awesome with all the changes. Um, just remember to always say goodbye to your child. Try not to sneak off. There are going to be days that are a little bit more difficult, but we can handle it. Don't worry about it. If it's too much, I will call you guys. But yeah, just try not to linger though after you say goodbye, because that's what kind of gets that anxiety a little shot up a little bit more. If we have an emergency closing, um, now we are in Westwood, so snow is a big thing, or power outages. Those are basically the only 2 reasons, unless we have to go distance learning, which I'll discuss later. But weather and power are basically the only 2 reasons, or no heat, are the 3 reasons why we would close. Um, but if we could do a delay opening, we will try our hardest. We usually follow the Westwood School District, but since they are doing distance learning, I've got to talk to the higher ups to see if it's okay or not. If we can't get out of our driveway, anything like that, then that's probably going to be a little something. Um, if there's no power, we have to have heat. Of course, we have oil. So if there's no power, then we have no school because we can't maintain the heat in here. Also, luckily, this hasn't happened in a while because they've locked our oil tank. We have ran out of oil and people have stolen our oil before. So if there's no heat, like I said before, there's no school. I will try to give you the earliest heads up as possible with the fires. Also, like that one day, that was all public health. That wasn't me, that wasn't anyone else. That was public health that shut us down because we were into hazardous. It doesn't look like we'll be in hazardous anymore, so we should be good with the smoke, unless something happens. Um, but I promise I will notify you guys as soon as I know if anything like that happens. Emergency evacuation plans. We have our own evacuation plans for every little situation. We actually did our first fire drill a couple days ago, which actually went pretty well. So if some kids were upset that there was a fire, just so you know, there wasn't a real fire. There was a fire drill. We have those once a month. And also, I'm not too sure if we're going to start doing, if we have to, like lockdowns and stuff like that. We had some issues in the past with that, but never really straight for us, so we were pretty good. Emergency procedures. A staff member will contact the parent or emergency contact if necessary. I will try to get a hold of the parents first, and I'll basically go down our your contact list. Please make sure everything's up to date, just because I don't want something happening and I can't find anyone. If that's the case, then I will have to probably call the ambulance, which I have not had to in the past. So let's hopefully it doesn't happen this year. Um, but we will remain with the child. We will call the physician. We will call everybody just to make sure everyone is safe. With the emergency procedures, there is an initial right there. We're up to number 4. Authorization. Temporary changes to the child's release cannot be authorized over the phone. Just to make sure that it's still up and up, we have to know face to face, just so I can't say, oh, so and so told me that they're picking up, and And please remember, whoever's picking up, to have an ID with them. I personally might not be here one day, and my director might be here, and she might not know who they are, or they say, oh, I told Ashley. That's not going to help her. Um, Now, the next part is our health policy. Like you can see, very bold, italicized. We'll be going over that. This is all the COVID new stuff. Children will be screened each morning before attending preschool. All children must pass daily screenings before they're allowed to attend. If any of these symptoms are present during the school day, parents will be contacted immediately to be picked up. Temperature of 100.4, cough, sore throat, shortness of breath, congestion, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, extreme fatigue, muscle aches, headache, close contact with someone with COVID-19. A student health screening form for COVID-19 will be completed if a child presents any of the above symptoms. The screening form will be emailed to Lasson County Office of Ed nurse Katie Hart. So if this happens, I have to fill out this paper, send it over to LCOE's nurse. She will look it over, and then she will have to send it to public health. Public health will notify you, and then we have to go from there. So, just please, if your child is sick, keep them home. If it seems a little bit worse than a runny nose or anything, please get them checked so we know for sure. Um, let's see here. Administering medications, we cannot unless it is a doctor ordered, such as an inhaler and things like that, and then we have to get trained on it. And they must have something, IEP, any kind of service paperwork on that. Behavioral management, like I discussed, we have those behavioral things. The state preschool behavior plan, we have citizenship, behavior reports, like I've gone through. Biting policy, we'll be taking care of the person who was bit. Help the child who bites learn other behaviors, and then work with the parents of the child who bites and develop a plan to stop the biting. Um, this has helped in the past for some children, but so far, knock on wood, we have not had a biter, so we're doing okay there. Disenrollment of service and policies. Um, some ways that a family may be disenrolled are the parent knowingly files false or inaccurate information that makes them ineligible for the program. The program does not have the funds to continue the service. Abuse of over 10 best interest days or continued non-attendance, which we have discussed. If a child's behavior continues to proves to be a physical danger, and the family support team agreements are not followed. So that's the other thing. We'll have a family support meeting. We'll make goals for the child. If they're not working out, we might do another sit down, see what could be changed. But after that, if it just keeps continuing, then they'll have to disenroll. We have the meal program, which, like I said, ours is changed from the wonderful COVID. The food is served individually to each child during the COVID-19 pandemic for breakfast. Lunch will be sent home with each child at 11:30 for each day of attendance. Um, and then parents and siblings are not allowed to participate in the food service program. That would go if the parents were allowed to come in, serving, all that kind of stuff. Um, Luckily, Miss Shelley here is still doing the free lunches right now from for ages 1 to 18. So take advantage of that. Just do not forget to call before 9 o'clock with that. And then there's an initial there for the food program. Let's see here, parental involvement. We usually encourage volunteers as much as possible, but as of right now, with the COVID-19 pandemic, parents will not be allowed to volunteer in the classroom. No visitors are allowed to enter the classroom. Toys from brought from home are not permitted. Clothing, we can have extra clothes, but nothing else, or jackets. That's about it. Boots, flip flops, and slick bottom shoes are discouraged because they may pose a safety risk for your child. Extra clothes. Confidentiality. We are huge in confidentiality. Please, please, please believe that whatever happens here stays here. We will not be walking around town talking about it. Photography in the classroom. Due to COVID, parents are not allowed in the classroom and will not take pictures of other children. Now the other children part is even without the COVID-19. Take pictures of your child, but please make sure to respect everyone else's privacy and not have pictures of any of the other children in it. Birthdays, we used to do birthdays. Parents were able to bring something in, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, food, treats, and other items will not be allowed. Just keep that in mind when that time comes. If you guys want to, honestly, after we leave, you guys can do whatever you guys want out there. We just can't have it inside. So if your child wants to bring something special for the class, you have it out front. Perfectly fine. That's up to the parents to take it or not. Field trips. All field trips are canceled until further notice, and that's usually our one field trip is the pumpkin patch, which is like a bummer, but we're gonna try to make it work here in the classroom. We're gonna be looking at different pumpkin patches, all that stuff, and decorate the preschool that way. Please keep daily communication with your teachers and site supervisors. If anything comes around, feel free to write me anytime, call me, text message me, anything. Let's see here. Then it goes into child abuse and neglect. We focus on any of that, we will have to um, file a report, which I've only had to do once, and I really don't want to do it again. And then we'll give our licensing information. And then at the bottom right here is where you're going to sign and date. And that is our handout, our handbook. Remember, white is your copy. No, white is the copy you bring back with initials and signature, and then the blue copy is for you guys to keep. That was a lot to go over. So now we have just this little tiny piece of paper about distance learning. So this is just a letter. I'm just going to read through the letter just so you guys know. This is if something happens and we get shut down. There's a smoke issue. We can go straight to distance learning with this situation. So this is what our plan is. Does not mean we're getting shut down anytime soon. It's just if we do, we want to have a backup plan as soon as possible. In the event of school closures during the 2021 school year, your preschool team has worked together to develop a plan to maximize the distance learning experience. The concepts of play and inquiry have always been foundational in providing the children with the developmentally appropriate activities needed to encourage and engage their learning. The teachers will work to support parents and provide activities that will help further the learning of your child. Teachers will communicate with students and parents through the means of emails, phone calls, and scheduled Zoom meetings. Teachers will provide a weekly preschool learning guide and materials each week. The learning guide will highlight the story, concepts, and learning activities for the week. Daily, teachers will offer multiple Zoom sessions designed for your child to actively engage with their teacher. These sessions will provide an explanation of the activities, include a read aloud, and will teach concepts such as using a daily calendar, counting, letter and number recognition, and literacy skills. This will be on posted and shared with you on a virtual platform. Now we're still trying to figure out which virtual platform we can do because technically I cannot teach from Facebook. So it might be Google Classroom, anything like that. So we're still kind of trying to figure that part out. The role of the teachers, provide a clear weekly distance learning guide, which will include all of the following learning activities and worksheets for that week. Now this will be our packets. I'll have them out front. We're thinking of Friday being pickup, so just keep that part in mind, pickup and drop off. Um, and they'll be right on the front door. So if you have to come late and I'm not here, because I will be here every day, um, and if I'm not here, then you can just grab it and go whenever. I will offer multiple Zoom classroom sessions throughout the day. So we're looking at maybe 3 a day while I'm working, 30 minutes each, just to kind of interact with everybody. I'll also post daily learning videos and classroom sessions. I will contact parents at a minimum of once weekly by email, phone, or Zoom. I will hold 2 conferences each year, which is a phone call or a Zoom, and those are with the parent conferences. Then we will assess student learning and growth and development using the DRDPs, which we've kind of already gone over with that first parent meeting. Now the roles of the parents. Please try to communicate with me once weekly. Even if I call you, you can't call back right away. Just call back anytime. Weekly contact is required and will be documented and placed in the student's file. Now that's how we're going to figure out the attendance part. Pick up weekly distance learning guides and packet of materials, which I said will be Fridays if we get closed down for any reason, so we can have it for the following week. And if you can't, if something goes on that next week, you can do it that weekend. Assist your child with participating in one daily Zoom session. This will be documented and placed in your student's file as well. If unavailable for the Zoom session of the day, watch recorded session and contact the classroom teacher. Just like I asked you with the comments on here, just remember to let me know that you guys have watched the Zoom or however we're going to do it. Right now we're going to Zoom. I'm still going to figure out how to send you guys the links to the videos and all that kind of fun stuff. And then reach out to your student's teacher with questions or thoughts through email or phone call. You can also message me, text message me, anything. If you see me, ask me. Parents and our child's daily participation is required in order to maintain placement also in the preschool program. Now that's for when we come back. So like I said, it's key for attendance for you guys to participate in the Zooms and the folders and all that kind of stuff, or in the weekly check-ins. So that means if, let's say, you're like, we're going distance learning, not a big deal, that might change your child's placement when school reopens. So just keep that in the back of your mind, like this is, we've got to keep learning while we're going through all this stuff. Then on the back has actually the sister school's phone numbers on top, and then mine right there on the bottom. This is actually the preschool phone number, and then it gives them my work email address. Most of you guys know other ways to contact me. And that I want to say, let's see, we went over the distance learning if we have to. I'm not saying we will, if we have to. Remember the handbook, which will be in your packet. I will write on there mine, yours. The newsletter will be in there. The new book order will be in there, and then the October activity packet. And I'll try to get all that stuff done today, hopefully. And if I get done today, I might just leave them out on the front porch. We'll wait until Monday where I can personally give them to you in the morning. That way we don't get them if something happens or the sprinklers turn on or who knows what, they don't get ruined. But yes, so have a great weekend. That is it for me. Don't forget we have the fall festival to the harvest festival tonight or today. I think it starts at 3 down here by the Walker Mansion. And have a great weekend. I will see you guys all on Monday.